Greetings, this is Coach Veronica Marie, and I'm here to help you live a healthy and a happy life. Today, we're going to do that by talking about apology and its relationship to change. I don't place a high value on apology as it relates to change for many reasons. I understand that people apologize depending on what they fear, what they want, what they hope, and not always because of what they have done. People may apologize to relieve their own sense of shame. They may apologize to relieve their own sense of guilt. It sounds something like this: I feel so bad that I did that. You see, the emphasis is on the way that they feel. They don't like how they feel, and so they hope that the apology will relieve that. People apologize because they fear disconnection. They don't want their behavior to cause you to move away or distance yourself from them, so they will apologize to keep the connection. People apologize because they don't want to be seen as a bad person. Sometimes they say or do a thing that seems very harsh, very rude, however they've judged it, and so they don't want to be seen as that type of person. They don't want you to think that they're that type of person. And so it sounds something like, well, I don't want it to seem like I just don't care. You know, a lot of times, again, people are apologizing because of what's going on inside of them and not really because they want to change or can change. Sometimes people think the apology will lead to reconciliation. And when it doesn't, you can tell they think that because they'll say something like, I apologized already. Why is this still going on? I apologize. They place emphasis on the apology. When people do this, it tells me they don't understand conflict resolution and how reconciliation really happens. Sometimes people see apologies as accountability. They think I need to be accountable for my actions. But again, accountability is saying, yes, I did that. Apology is saying, I'm sorry. But none of that is saying I won't do it again, even if they're saying I'll never do that again. In order for a person to not repeat an action, they would have, number one, had to change their mindsets, their beliefs, which is complex. They also need to understand how their behavior affected you and be willing to work along whatever means to heal that. In order for an apology to lead to change, they really have to understand what it's like to be in your experience and care deeply about shifting it, not just care deeply about you knowing that they're sorry, or not just care deeply because they don't want to be without you or something like that. They really have to understand that your experience is so valid and so important, and that would be a byproduct of honor. When a person doesn't dwell deeply in honor, they probably are not going to experience deep change. They probably will offer apologies and expect the apology to mend whatever has been broken. Change is a complex process, especially when you're talking about deep pain. Usually, people apologize from the stage of change called contemplation. If you don't know much about the stages of change, I do highly suggest you research that, and I'll come back on a later teaching and talk about it. But for now, understand that often apologies happen at the contemplation stage. When people are in the contemplation stage of change, they are not necessarily ready to do something about what the problem is. They just recently realized there was a problem. The people in contemplation are usually not ready to move into action. And the reason is because they haven't thought deeply enough about it. How you know that a person is in contemplation, meaning not ready to move into any actionable results, is they think the apology is enough. They say things like, I understand, I get it, without inquiring into your experience or having deep conversations that really touch your heart. They're in contemplation, usually. So, in order to really experience change, the person has to move from contemplation to preparation. And even in preparation, they're not actually changing, they're considering what it may take to change. But then there's action. A person in the action phase of change is actively doing what it takes to shift mindsets and such. So the question is, yes, after they apologize, they say they want to change, they see the problem. What are they doing to really address it? Sometimes that's therapy, sometimes that's coaching, sometimes it's actively reorganizing their belief systems and being willing to share about it. Change is not just behavioral. People can change behaviors as long as they're under their personal guilt or shame. When you want to actually change a way of being, you must change the belief system, the state of mind. I know what a changed state of mind sounds like. So as I'm listening to people who are apologizing or regretful or remorseful about something they've done, not necessarily toward me, but just in general, I'm listening to see what stage of change are they in. If they're in pre-contemplation, they don't even see it's a problem, they're blaming someone else. When they're in contemplation, they may say, yeah, I see that's a problem, and I'm sorry, I didn't mean to hurt you. In preparation, it sounds something like, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to hurt you. I'm thinking more deeply about it. Tell me more about your experience so I can know what points really affected you, and I really want to know what to change. A person in preparation is saying, now that I understand all of that, I am going to do A, B, C, D, and E. A person in action stage is actually doing A, B, C, D, and E. So this is why apologies don't hold a high value in my mind, because I understand if reconciliation is to happen, it's going to take more than an apology from contemplation stage. I understand that when people are not ready to change, they don't plug deeply into your experience. It's too painful for them to hear it. And so they may vacillate between defense and guilt and shame, but it really doesn't come into a genuine sense of seeing from your perspective, because their perspective is too painful and clouding their understanding. So that is it. I hope this makes sense. Feel free to leave comments. Feel free to ask questions. My name is Coach Veronica Marie. If you want some deeper help here, you can find me on my website at veronicamarie.com. I also have 3 ebooks to help you in life contemplate, reflect, and self-assess. And you can find those on my website as well. That's it for now. Have a beautiful day, and you'll hear from me soon.